Good morning, everybody. We'll begin today's session. First question for the day. In the figure below, a person is putting small packets of potatoes in one of the bins, A, B, or C. These packets are placed on the table, and the bins are A, B, and C are placed on the tables, which are lower in height as compared to the table on which the packets rest. Which of the following statements is or are true? Okay, we're given a diagram. And then we are shown here the packets of potatoes, these are the packets of potatoes. These are the bins A, bin B, and bin C. All right. What we are given here is we have to identify which of the statements made is or are true. One or more options are correct in this case. All right. First statement. Lifting the bag from the table and placing it in bin B will be less effortful compared to lifting and placing it in bin C. Now, this is wrong because placing it in bin B will be more effortful compared to, it won't be less, but it will be more effortful compared to placing it in bin C. So, wrong. B. Lifting the bag from the table and placing it in bin A will be more effortful compared to sliding it in bin C. This is true because sliding is less effortful compared to A. Next, lifting the bag from the table and placing it in bin B will be less effortful compared to sliding it in bin C. No, it is in fact more effortful, so C is wrong. D, sliding the bag from table to bin C will be less effortful. Bin C will be less effortful than lifting it and placing it in bin C. This is true because sliding is definitely less effortful than lifting and placing. Okay. So here options B and D are correct. Okay, move to the next one. In a town, there are 4 kinds of people: Mizrab, frets, dictions, and scripts. People of any kind play exactly 2 instruments. An instrument is played by exactly 2 people of 2 kinds. Some Mizrabs play tabla, some frets play sitar. The kind that play harmonium does not play sarud. The kind that play tabla do not play sitar. The Mizrab and dictions do not play the same instrument, and frets and scripts do not play the same instrument. Dictions do not play harmonium. Which of the statements is or are true? Okay. So first we have to match where what fits. So one condition is harmonium and sarud, they do not go with each other. Also, another condition is given that tabla and sitar, the one who plays tabla won't play sitar. The people whom we have are Mizrab, frets, diction, and scripts. We are given these 4 people. Harmonium and sarud, they don't go together, and tabla and sitar, they don't go together. What we are given is some Mizrab. First condition says some Mizrab play tabla, so tabla will come here. Some frets play sitar, so this will come here. So Mizrab tabla play कर रहा है, so he won't be playing sitar. Also, frets is playing sitar, so he won't be playing tabla. This is for sure. Okay. The kind that play harmonium does not play sarud. The kind that play tabla do not play sitar. Mizrab and dictions. Mizrab and dictions, they do not play the same instrument. Okay, that also we know that. So, if Mizrab is playing tabla, diction cannot play tabla. Diction will play, sorry, use a black color. Diction will play sitar. Okay. Frets and scripts do not play the same instrument. It means if fret is playing sitar, the scripts will be playing tabla. This is also fine. Diction do not play harmonium. dictions, they do not play harmonium. If diction is not playing harmonium, then Mizrab plays harmonium, because Mizrab and diction do not play the same instrument. Also, सितार जो बजाता है वही सरूद बजा पाएगा. Sitar and sarud will go together, so sarud will come here. Sarud will also come here because Mizrab and Sprets do not play the same instrument. And then last bacha harmonium will come here. Okay. Let's see the statements. Frets do not play harmonium. Frets do not play tabla. This is true. Frets do not play tabla is true. Scripts play tabla. Scripts play tabla is true. Mizrabs play harmonium. Mizrabs play harmonium is also true. And dictions play sitar is also true. So all the options A, B, C, and D are correct in this case. Okay. Move to the next one. The word given below uses a particular font. Which option belongs to the same font family? Okay. We're given here font. We have to identify which of the fonts belong to this same font family. In this case, our clue is this curve which is there. We'll borrow that curvature from this letter the. So if you observe the smoothness of the curve, C गलत आएगा, D भी गलत आएगा. B में वो curvature अलग ही है, so B भी गलत है, and A is the one which is the correct answer here. Okay, we'll move to the next one. Which option will replace the question mark? You're given a graphic, there's some part which is missing in the middle. You have to identify which of the option will replace the question mark. Okay. First, we'll do this by comparing the options together. When you compare the options together, there's one part, this corner, which is, this corner is little bit different in all the options, A, B, C, and D. If you observe the difference, and also try to verify it, what happens at that corner in the question figure, this is how the figure has to look like, with a little bit of tick here and then the whole figure completing. A में that tick is missing, so ये गलत है. B is fine. C में ये बहुत बड़ा है, so गलत है. D में the hatch is problem, ये वाला hatch नहीं आएगा. In fact, it will be some color like this, so D भी गलत है. Henceforth, B is the one which is the correct answer here. Okay, we'll move to the next one. An envelope made of a single piece of paper is taken and a few cuts are made out of it. The envelope and the cuts are shown below. Identify the resulting figure when the envelope is unfolded. Okay. So here our clue here is this corner which happens. This corner is what is our reference clue. Why? Because envelope का एक ही side होगा ये वाला जहाँ पे वो curve थोड़ा बड़ा वाला edge होगा इसका. Okay. Also, when you compare all the options together, because we are folding, वहां पे उसका जो fold करेंगे और फिर वो unfold करेंगे तब mirror होना चाहिए. तो all the image, जैसे ये triangle यहाँ पे है, उसका एक cutout यहाँ पे होगा, but then उसका opposite cutout will be mirror of it here. Likewise, this also, ये भी mirror होगा और ये भी mirror होगा. वो हर एक edge पे होगा, हर एक side पे होगा. So we'll first try to check out whether or not we can eliminate some options just by spotting the similar items. Like for example, in option B, ये वाला और ये वाला part are not mirror of each other, but कि यहाँ से अगर fold हो रहा है तो ये mirror होना चाहिए, यहाँ से भी fold हो रहा है तो ये mirror होना चाहिए, but वो नहीं हो रहा है, so A गलत है. Likewise, in case of option C also, this part is problematic. If it is folding from here, तो ये mirror होना चाहिए, so C is wrong. Between B and D, if you compare, the difference happens here in this much part, जहाँ पे diamond is on the left side in B and then right side पे square है, और D में आपका left side पे square है और right side पे diamond है. Okay. इन द क्वेश्चन फिगर लेफ्ट साइड पे डायमंड है और राइट साइड पे स्क्वायर है, सो डी गलत है एंड बी विल बी द वन विच इज द करेक्ट आंसर हियर. Okay, we'll move to the next one. This is the same figure constructed completely. Next. Shown in the four figures A, B, C, and D on the right are broken lines drawn on a transparent sheet. Each figure is folded over along the dotted lines as shown. You are to identify the correct option that will generate the motif shown on the left. Okay. Now here, since the options look very similar, we'll again go to comparing the options with each other. When you compare the options with each other, you will notice one thing which is different in A, which is this part. ये वाला part थोड़ा different है. And then when you come here, yes, we do need it here. So B में जहाँ पे वो part missing है, वो गलत आएगा. Between A, C and D, again, when you compare, if there is any line which is missing, in option D, we find this part. जो ये C में दिख रहा है, A में भी ये दिख रहा है, वो missing है. But then we don't see here another line compensating that missing line. So D गलत है. Between A and C, again, when you compare, we see this line missing. We need it here. We need actually that line here. जो ये वाला लाइन है, वी नीड इट हियर, ताकि ये जब फोल्ड हो तो वो ये वाला लाइन आपका कंप्लीट हो जाए. बट सी में मिसिंग है, सो सी इज रॉन्ग एंड ए इज द वन विच इज द करेक्ट आंसर. We'll move to the next one. Figure below shows the top view, front view, and side view of three-dimensional solid object. What is the minimum number of surfaces that a solid with these views can have? Assume that there are no hidden lines. Okay, there are no hidden lines. We are given here three views. We have to identify the surfaces that this solid will have when you construct it. So these edges which you are seeing, they are actually called pendentives. These are pendentives. Okay. So ये कैसे form होंगे? If these are the edges of that, तो ये वाला जो part होगा, ये ऐसे पेंडेंटिव की तरह फॉर्म होगा, विच इज लाइक अ थ्री डिमेंशनल कर्व लाइक यू आर सीइंग हियर, जो यहाँ पे भी आएगा और जो यहाँ पे भी आएगा. So you will have four pendentives on top, four pendentives at bottom. So 4 plus 4, 8 plus 6 surfaces circular वाले plus 6. So the answer is 14 surfaces. Hence B is the correct answer. Okay. We'll move to the next one. Sheetal is running. Which option denotes the natural pose, the most natural pose? Okay. In this case, we're given here 4 different poses. We have to identify which is the most natural running pose. They look similar. The options look very similar, but they're different. Now, the most different part is D, क्योंकि ये lifting pose है, so D गलत आएगा. Between A, B and C, if you see, A में आपका लेफ्ट साइड का हाथ और राइट साइड का, सॉरी, लेफ्ट साइड का हाथ और लेफ्ट साइड का पैर उठा हुआ है. बी में राइट साइड का आर्म और राइट साइड का ही पैर उठा हुआ है. बोथ आर लेफ्ट इन ए, बोथ आर राइट इन बी. इन सी, one is right and one is left. When you're running, your natural position is if your left hand is up, then your right leg will be up. Alternate motion hota hai. So C is correct and A and B are wrong. Okay. We'll move to the next one. Identify the correct profile of the cricketer that corresponds to the given front pose. Front pose दिया है आपको, उसको corresponding side pose ढूंढना है आपको. Okay. When you compare all the options A, B, C, and D together, there's one particular thing that you will find different in B, that is this much part. So in B, this part, love वाला जो ये आपका part है, वो थोड़ा different है. Actually, ऊपर का मिडल वाला पार्ट उठा हुआ है और साइड का एजेस नीचे. एक्चुअली इफ यू लुक एट द रेफरेंस फिगर, ये नीचे आएगा, मिडल वाला पार्ट नीचे है और साइड वाला पार्ट थोड़ा ऊपर है. तो बी वाला ऑप्शन गलत है. between A, C and D when you compare it, A वाला जो leg position है वो थोड़ा अलग है. If you look at that leg position, it is coming at the back. और आगे वाला ये leg आएगा. So A वाला option गलत है. Between C and D again when you compare, the difference that happens is in the shirt position with reference to the gloves. So if you observe the question figure, the gloves का starting point और shirt are almost in line. So C is right and D is wrong क्योंकि D में वो नीचे जा रहा है ये line. So C is the correct answer. Okay, we'll move to the next one. Seema on the left is looking at the mirror. Which option shows her reflection correctly? Okay, this lady is looking at the mirror. We have to identify which of the options shows her reflection correctly. Here, if you look at the options, there is one option which has the same orientation of her hair as it is seen in the question figure. Option A wala. So A galat aayega because it is a mirror. If it is a mirror, it will be mirror. So B or C or D में से एक आएगा. Again, if you compare D का position of the mole and D का position of the mole and the question figure का mole is in the same side. So D भी गलत आएगा. Between B and C, if you compare the eyes का position of B and B question figure का eye का position is the same. So B भी गलत आएगा. C में is the only option where everything is mirrored. So C is the one which is the correct answer. Okay. Move to the next one. Kavita is holding a lit torch towards below her face as she narrates a ghost story to her friends in a dark room. Which option shows the light correctly? Okay. So we'll look at the options now. Option A. Option A में the light position has to be somewhere here where I have marked. यहाँ कहीं पे light का position होना चाहिए, torch का position होना चाहिए तो ही सही है. So A is wrong. In B, the position and the mirroring also of the light is also happening. So B is actually correct that way. But if you still want to cross verify, we'll look at C and D also. C में आपका टॉर्च का ओरिएंटेशन ये एंगल पे होना चाहिए तो सही है बिकॉज ये वाला पार्ट लिट नहीं हो रहा है. तो C गलत है. On D में the issue is the torch is held up very close here, maybe somewhere here. क्योंकि सिर्फ आंख वाला पार्ट लिट हो रहा है, दैट्स व्हाई. सो डी भी गलत है, हेंस फोर बी इज द करेक्ट आंसर. ओके, we'll move to the next one. Which option correctly represents the top view of the given perspective view? You're given here a perspective view, you have to identify the top view. If you look at the perspective view, one very evident thing is that gray color का जो wall है, gray color का जो wall है वो बड़ा है और वो ऊपर जा रहा है. So by that logic, when you look at it from the top view, gray वाला line जो है वो पूरा continuous होना चाहिए. B में वो नहीं हो रहा है, so B is wrong. Between A, C and D, when you look at it, if you observe the pink wall, ये वाला length actually shorter होगा versus ये long होगा. Why? Because in perspective, when things are away from you, they appear small also. And I mean, they appear quite small. So obviously, if in perspective, the length is longer in both the cases, so actual length इसका ज़्यादा होगा पीछे के side वाला. So A गलत होगा जिसमें दोनों length same है. C भी गलत होगा जिसमें पीछे वाला length is shorter. And henceforth, D is the one which is the correct answer. Okay, we'll move to the next one. A milkman is returning from his trip on his bicycle. He has two empty containers of 5 liters and 3 liters hanging on one side and full 8 liters container on the other side. He was not able to ride the bicycle properly, so he stopped and decided to distribute the milk so that the load becomes balanced on both the sides of the bicycle. Unfortunately, he has forgotten his measuring cup on his last stop. How many minimum turns will it take for him to be able to distribute the milk into 2 equal halves to balance the load? Ignore the weight and the material properties of the container and the bicycle. Okay. If this is the cycle के एक बाजू 8 लीटर का कंटेनर है, दूसरी बाजू 5 और 3 लीटर का कंटेनर है. ओके, now this is 8 liters, this is 3 liters, this is 5 liters, and then these are the steps that I will be taking. Zeroth step, which was the initial position, 8 liters में पूरा भरा हुआ है. This is 0 and this is 0. 3 और 5 liters वाले दोनों खाली है. First step में we'll put 3 liters from 8 liters container to 3 liters container. 3 liters यहाँ पे आएगा, यहाँ पे 5 लीटर बचेगा और यहाँ पे 0 liters होगा. In the next step, we are going to then take this 3 liters to 5 liters. फिर हम 3 to 5 में डालेंगे, तो ये 3 लीटर बनेगा, ये 0 लीटर हो जाएगा और ये 5 लीटर रहेगा. This is 3 liter to 5 liter. In the third step, we are then filling from the 8 liter to 3 liter. 8 लीटर से 3 लीटर में जाएगा, तो यहाँ पे 2 लीटर आएगा, ये 3 लीटर आएगा और ये भी 3 लीटर आएगा. In the fourth step, then 2 liters रहेगा, ये 3 लीटर से 2 लीटर में यहाँ पे डालूंगी, तो ये 5 लीटर फुल हो जाएगा, यहाँ पे 1 लीटर बचेगा. So 3 liter to 5 liter. In the fifth step, ये 5 लीटर मैं वापस यहाँ पे डाल दूंगी. This is 5 liter to 8 liter. So ये 7 लीटर भर जाएगा, ये 1 liter और ये 0 liter. In the sixth step, I will then fill this 1 liter in the 5 liter container. So ये 1 liter, ये 0 liter और ये 7 liter. So this is 3 liter to 5 liter. And in the seventh step, I will fill the 8 liter into 3 liter. So ये 4 liter, ये 3 liter, ये 1 liter. तो यहाँ पे 4 आ गए आपके 4 liters और यहाँ पे भी 4 liters आ गया. So it is balanced right now. So in 7 steps, I am able to balance the cycle with 4 liters on one side and 4 liters on the other side. Okay, we'll move to the for students P, Q, R, and S are shown a box which contains a few white balls and few red balls. The teacher asks each of them individually to make a statement. The teacher knows that exactly one of them is a liar and others are not. From the statement that they make, the teacher is able to find out who is the liar. Given below are the statements made by the students. Who is the liar we have to find. Okay, P, Q, R, S, दो तीन चारों में से कौन liar है? First, P says there are equal numbers of red and white balls. Q says P is a liar and there are 3 red balls and 2 white balls. R says Q is not a liar and there are some red balls and some white balls in the box, and S says R is not a liar. In this case, it's straightforward. P is the liar. Why? Because अगर P liar होता तो ही P, Q, R और S की statements सही होती. Q, R and S की statements are dependent on Q. R और S की statements are dependent on Q. I mean, R की statement is dependent on Q and S की statement is dependent on R and hence indirectly dependent on Q. That's right. क्योंकि S बोल रहा है R is not a liar. R बोल रहा है Q is not a liar. So P only has to be the liar. तो ही ये तीनों statements सही होंगी. So option A is the one which is the correct answer. Okay. I'll end today's session on this note. Thank you so much.